Welcome back to Plus 2 Biology, chapter Human Reproduction, and our today's topic is Human Female Reproductive System. Okay, last session we have completed male reproductive system and spermatogenesis. So, human female reproductive system consists of, there is a primary sex organ, then there is accessory glands, accessory ducts and external genitalia. Okay, so the female reproductive system in human beings consists of the primary sex organ, gonad, that is named as ovary. Okay, and in a female there is a pair of ovary. That means we can say 2 in number. Okay, like testis, there is also 2 in number. A pair of ovaries are present. Then next, there is accessory duct. In female also, there is accessory duct system which consists of the fallopian tube, uterus and vagina. Okay, the accessory ducts in female include fallopian tube, uterus and vagina. Got it? The 3 parts of the accessory ducts in human female. Then the accessory glands include mammary glands. You know that the mammary glands, paired mammary glands represents the accessory glands. There are some minor glands also. Then again there is the external genitalia, external part of the genital organ, which consists of some organs like labia majora, labia minora, labia majora, minora, clitoris, like structural part also there. So just keep in mind, in human female, the reproductive system consists of number of structures. Okay, we can categorize under the first case, the first category, primary sex organs. There is a pair of ovaries. Got it? You can see the pair of ovaries here. The ovaries are remaining attached to the uterus and to the tube. We will discuss it later. See, a pair of ovaries. Then accessory ducts include fallopian tube, uterus, vagina. Okay, fallopian tube which is leading to uterus, and then there is vagina also. Okay. Then there is mammary gland as an accessory gland which produces milk. Then labia majora, minora, clitoris like structures are also there as external genitalia, external part of the genital organ. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. First of all, listen to the primary sex organ, ovary. So here you can see the ovaries here. The diagram, this represents ovary, a pair of ovaries. Okay, and these ovaries are seen attached to this tube. This is the duct, fallopian duct. Okay, fallopian tube or oviduct. And here, this is attached to this tube by means of certain ligaments. So the ligaments connect to this ovary. Ovary is not a hanging structure, it's not a vacuum. It's attached to both sides. To the uterus and to the tube, it is attached by means of ligaments. Got it? The ligaments connect ovary to the tube and to the uterus. Okay. Then about the structure of ovary, we will have a discussion, detailed discussion later. So understand, ovary, from this ovary, then ovary structure connected to ligaments, through ligaments to the duct, oviduct, and this oviduct we can call, it is also known as fallopian tube. FT I have marked there, fallopian tube. Another name of the oviduct is fallopian tube. That is also 2 in number. You can see on both sides, right? Then fallopian tube or oviduct has 3 distinct regions. We can say there are 3 distinct regions, and this region, that means this funnel shaped region of oviduct is known as infundibulum. The name is infundibulum. Got it? The funnel-shaped region of the oviduct, which is more near to the ovary, is called infundibulum. Infundibulum leads to a wider portion, which is called ampulla of fallopian tube. The second region, the middle region of fallopian tube, is called ampulla. Got it? The infundibulum is the funnel-shaped portion which is near to ovary, and ampulla is the portion which is coming in the middle and which is wider too. Okay? And this narrow, comparatively narrow portion is called isthmus. Got it? So, isthmus, ampulla and infundibulum are three distinct regions of what? Fallopian tube or oviduct. And this infundibulum wider canal, the funnel-like region is having so many finger-like projections. We can call them as fimbriae, which help to collect ovum released. The released ovum can be collected with the help of this finger-like structures. Got it? Okay, so these finger-like structures are called fimbriae. Okay, so under fallopian tube you have studied, they are two in number, both sides they are, and it is connecting ovary to the uterus. Okay, and it has three distinct portions: infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus. Infundibulum is with number of finger-like projections called fimbriae. Okay, then the next portion is uterus. It is single. Only one uterus is there. Okay, single. And pear-like structure, pear-shaped. Its shape is looking like a pear. Okay, in body it will remain like an inverted pear. Anyway, pear fruit-like. So this uterus is having three regions. We can just divide the uterine portion into three parts. This part of the uterus, that means this part of the uterus is called fundus, uterine fundus. Got it? The anterior portion of the uterus we can call as fundus. Okay, the middle portion, okay, it is called uterine body, the real body. Okay, the central portion, central canal is called body. It's not clear. So here it's body, uterine body. Its upper part, anterior portion is uterine fundus, then is uterine body, and this portion is called uterine cervix. Uterine cervix. So uterus has three regions: fundus, body and cervix. Got it? And the cervix part is with a central canal called the cervical canal. Okay? This cervical canal open to a wide space which is called vagina. The cervix part of the uterus is with a central canal called the cervical canal. Okay, and this cervical canal open to what? The space called vagina. The space where the cervical canal open is called vagina. Cervical canal along with vagina represents the birth canal through which the baby is born. Got it? Three parts of the uterus. Then the posterior part of the uterus is called cervix. This part of the uterus is called cervix. It possesses a central canal, cervical canal, narrow canal, and it leads to another wide tube, that is vagina, comparatively wide tube, and this vagina along with cervical canal is called birth canal through which the baby is born. Okay, got it? So if so, we can just discuss the next part of the next side of the uterus. See, in uterus, we can say there are three layers. Anyway, I'm just marking it here. Just understand. Uterus has an outer wall called perimetrium and inner wall called myometrium. Okay. That means the outer portion of the uterus. In the uterine tissue, the outer portion, outer part is perimetrium. Perimetrium. Then inner muscular part is called myometrium. And the middle, okay, the innermost portion is usually with blood vessels and other connective tissue. It is known as endometrium. And you know, uterus is having a particular, a very significant role in a human female body. And this is an inverted pear-like, pear-shaped structure. And this pear fruit like structure is very thick structure which has its tissue divided to three major types. Uterine tissue is having an outer layer called perimetrium, a middle layer which is a muscular layer called myometrium, and an innermost layer called endometrium which is rich in connective tissue like blood. Okay? Endometrium, its significance, details, everything we are going to discuss later. That's about the uterus. Uterus leads to the tube vagina. Vagina is opening out through vaginal opening, vaginal orifice in a female. Okay, and in a female, there is a separate opening for the vaginal opening is separate, and there is an urinary opening, urethra also open out, urethral meatus. So in a male, there is single opening for both sperms and urine, whereas in a female there are two separate openings, one to release urine and also for the release of ovum. Okay, simple. Then come to the next topic. If these portions are clear, we can move to the detailed structure of an ovary. Okay, an ovary is having about the shape of the ovary you have. So what oval in shape? Ovary is oval in shape. It's called the ovary VS, vertical section of ovary. Okay. This is a vertical section of LS, section of ovary. It's having a length of 2 to 4 centimeter. Then the ovary, the central tissue is called stroma. The stroma of the ovary, the ovarian tissue is divided to an outer cortex region and inner medulla, like every other tissue. You are familiar with this term. Okay, human body tissue as a brain or whatever. The outer part of the tissue, every organ, the outer part of the tissue is called cortex. If it's a kidney, or you have learned it in 11th. And inner part of the tissue is called medulla. And in the ovarian cortex, not in the medulla, not in the central part, in the ovarian cortex, we can see the number of structures like this. Okay, within the ovarian cortex, we can see these are called ovarian follicles. You got me? This is one follicle, next like all the structures are called ovarian follicles. So what is present in the ovarian stroma, especially in the ovarian cortex? The ovarian cortex consists of ovarian follicles. And we can see the follicles in different stages of development, and this is a primary follicle. Okay, different stages of ovarian follicles can be seen. This one is a primary follicle, whereas this is a secondary follicle, and whereas this one is a tertiary follicle. Okay, the last one, the fully matured one, is called Graafian follicle. You got me? So in oogenesis topic, we can just discuss what is the difference between these all things. So within the ovarian cortex, we can see ovarian follicles in different stages of development. Here, primary, secondary, tertiary, Graafian follicle. The tertiary and Graafian follicle consist of a fluid-filled space. Here you can see a space. Okay, that is called antrum. The fluid-filled cavity inside the follicle is called antrum. These follicles carry the germ cells in different stages of development. That means it may carry, young stages follicles carry primary oocyte. When it's getting matured, it carries secondary oocyte. That means primary follicle and secondary follicle carry primary oocyte inside. What's drawn as primary oocyte inside. Whereas tertiary and Graafian follicle carries what? They carry what? Secondary oocyte inside. This series of development we discuss in the next session. Okay, just to understand, within the cortical region, there are different ovarian follicles in the order of maturation. Primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle and Graafian follicle. And this Graafian follicle rupture and it release the ovum. That process is called ovulation. Release of ovum out. The Graafian follicle ruptures to release the ovum. And like this way, when it's rupturing and releasing the ovum, it is collected to the duct, the fallopian tube. So the Graafian follicle ruptures to release the ovum. This process is called ovulation. Okay. And after the release of ovum, the remainings of the Graafian follicles, understand, the remnants of the Graafian follicle develop to another structure which is a gland called corpus luteum. You are familiar. Okay, corpus luteum. Got it? So, the remnants of the Graafian follicle develop to a massive structure which is acting as a gland, which is what is corpus luteum. Got it? And this corpus luteum also gradually disintegrates. This also gets disintegrated later. This is what the components or the structures of cells and tissues present inside the cortex. Okay, present inside the ovary. On a vertical section, we can see the different structures very clearly if it's observed under microscope. In your practical session also, you have this slide to observe. It will be more clear for you. Okay, so just understand, in ovary vertical section, we can see number of ovarian follicle, and ovarian follicles carry the oocyte inside. Okay, either primary or secondary oocyte inside. When the secondary oocyte is released out, it is called ovulation, and what is remaining will be converted to another structure called corpus luteum. Okay, and if so, just to discuss, let me just discuss the structure of mature follicle, Graafian follicle. Okay, which is ruptured to release the ovum. And when we discuss the structure of a mature follicle, you can see it contains centrally what is located. The cell is, okay, it consists of a central cell, that is secondary oocyte. So everybody note this down. Understand, a mature Graafian follicle, it's not carrying ovum inside, it's carrying secondary oocyte inside. We will discuss all these things we discuss later. Anyway, now understand the structure. This is a Graafian follicle, fully mature follicle. It consists of a secondary oocyte inside, and there is a layer of very thick layer outside which is called the zona pellucida. Okay, the protective layer outer to secondary oocyte is called zona pellucida. And there is the cavity, the fluid with filled space called antrum. Okay, likewise I have just told you, this fluid filled space, the chamber, is called antrum. And you can see there is 2 layers of protective tissue, one which come inside and one which come outside. Everywhere there is an inner layer of tissue and an outer layer of tissue. The inner layer of tissue, and here I will mark here, it's also present outside. Anyway, it's called theca interna. Okay, theca interna is inner layer of follicular cells. Theca interna we will discuss. Okay, theca interna means these all cells which can be seen as an inner layer. Okay, and there is theca externa as the outer layer of follicles. Okay, follicle represent each cell. Each single cell is called a follicular cell. Like follicular cells form a layer. This follicular cells form an inner layer called the theca interna, and follicular cells form an outer layer called the theca externa. Simple fact only. Okay, so keep in mind the structure of Graafian follicle. Okay, there is a stalk which connect. It's called cumulus oophorus. Cumulus oophorus. Okay, anyway, in the structure of Graafian follicle, you can see the secondary oocyte in the center or pushed towards one side. And the secondary oocyte is surrounded by a thick layer, protective layer, zona pellucida. And surrounding this, you can see some theca interna externa layers, cells of the follicles, okay, follicular cells. And there is a fluid filled space called antrum. And again you can see the follicular cells forming theca interna inner layer and theca externa outer layer. Got it? Okay. So about the mammary gland. The mammary gland is a paired structure in human female. Okay, and its detailed discussion we will discuss later in our live session. And mammary glands consist of many mammary lobes. Okay, and they possess mammary alveoli to secrete milk, mammary alveoli, and this milk to carry, to be transported to the nipple. Okay, there are number of duct system that we will discuss in our live session. Okay, mammary human mammary gland. If it's in any mammal, it's paired structure. This is specially designed or specially created to secrete milk. The milk secreting chambers or the sacs are called alveoli, mammary alveoli. The secreted milk that is transported through number of channels, tubular structures. There are different names that we will discuss in the live session. They are called mammary, lobule, mammary duct, mammary lobule, mammary ampulla, like different names are there, and the lactiferous duct. And that we will discuss later. Anyway, this mammary ducts which open to the nipple can be the secreting the milk, and this releasing the milk, and this can be sucked out by the baby. Okay. Anyway, mammary gland, paired mammary gland is a unique structure of mammals, and this having a very particular function. Okay. Then about the external genitalia in female. Human female external genitalia. There are two separate openings for urethra and also for the vagina. And where these two openings are there is a tissue which guard these openings, and that tissue represent the cushion, fatty cushion tissue, which is with hair-like structures and all. And the fatty cushion-like structure is called mons pubis. Okay. In the external genitalia of female, there is a fatty cushion-like structure called mons pubis, and in the mons pubis, in the fatty tissue, there are two large fleshy folds of skin that's called labia majora. There are two large fleshy folds of skin called labia majora, and inside the labia majora, there are two small fleshy folds of skin, that is labia minora, and at the end of at the anterior portion of labia minora, there is a finger-like structure which is called the clitoris. Okay, this finger-like structure is called clitoris, and there are these two openings, urinary opening and vaginal opening comes like this. Urinary opening and vaginal opening comes like this. And this structure also we discuss in our live session in detail. Just understand the external genitalia of human female consist of these all structures which have a quite difficult names, I think. The mons pubis is the fatty cushion-like structure, the cushion-like area where these openings are. And this vaginal and urethral openings are separate. And then vaginal orifice, there is mons pubis as a tissue, and within the tissue there are two large fleshy folds called labia majora. Inside that there are two small fleshy folds called the labia minora. At the end of the anterior end of the labia minora, there is a finger-like structure called clitoris. Okay. Then one more thing, the vaginal opening is partially covered by a membrane called hymen. Vaginal opening is partially covered by a membrane called hymen, which can be broken during the first intercourse, or which can be broken even during heavy exercise or horse riding or like active participation in sports or like. Okay, so hymen is a partial thin covering of vaginal opening. That's about the structure of human female reproductive system. The functional aspects, oogenesis, that are things we discuss later. When we discuss oogenesis, you will have a better understanding of the different types of follicles and about the different stages of development inside. Okay, so I think it's okay, and if there is any doubt, we will discuss in our live session. Okay, thank you.